Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my new school.
Come on, you can do this. Come on, baby. Come on, you got it. Come on. You got it. Come on, baby, stand up. It is a wonderful day. Come on, you can do this. It's a wonderful day. Come on, it is a wonderful day.
It is a wonderful day in the community.
Come on, don't be shy. You got this. You're my star. Come on. As we celebrate
The opening of 2 new schools here.
All right, stand up, baby. Tell school.
Arundel Elementary and Cherry Hill Elementary Middle.
All right, now you tell me your name. Come on.
My name is Claude Johnson.
I am who are you? You're a kindergarten. I am a kindergarten.
And I'm a kindergarten scholar.
All right, come on. You're almost done. My favorite part. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us today. I would like to pass the mic
To Dr. S.
to Dr. S.
So can we all give Claude another big round of applause? Wow, Claude was absolutely wonderful. And let me tell you something, that perseverance, that ability to stand up, even in a room and while I think you're all wonderful people, scary faces, and to push through because he had the support, right? Right there was mom, right there, all along the way, is the kind of support that I think is emblematic of what this project represents. So I am Sonia Santelises. I'm CEO of City Schools. I, along with Claude, want to welcome you all here today, members of the Anne Arundel community, members of the Cherry Hill community, elected officials. There are so many people here who just have played such an amazing role in what we see here now. I would also like to say there are many people who we do not have here today. Who came before me, and one of the things that I like to say and acknowledge is I'm just the one who gets to go to the ribbon cuttings. I'm just the one who gets to see the finished product, but there have been countless hours over countless years from numerous people who worked to see this as a reality for Baltimore City school children and the children and community of Cherry Hill. So one of the things that I would like to begin doing, and I know it's hard in settings like this to go through all the thank yous, but I think that there are a number that we would just like to call out today over the course of the day. First, I want to really give a big thank you to Governor Hogan for joining us here today, and the state's continued support of this effort, his support. Mayor Catherine Pugh, who is also with us, who will be speaking, who has said from the beginning that education is one of her foremost priorities as mayor. Council President Young, who has joined us today. I want to thank him for being here. We also have a number of other public officials. We have Council Member Ed Reisinger. Are you here? I thought I saw you. Delegate Brooke Learman is also here. We have Senator Bill Ferguson. We have Delegate Luke Clippinger. We have Delegate Robin Lewis. And I am sure if there's anybody that I have scanned and do not see, I will be able to. She's trying to point me out. I also would like to thank past and current school commissioners who are here. So I'd like to take time to say a special Thank you to Tina Highcupboard and Marnell Cooper, who were former members of the Board of Commissioners who actually were some of the early and first champions of this work. I want to thank them for their leadership.
Yay, Tina!
I want to thank Commissioner McFadden. I thought I saw some other board commissioners here. Thank you. Commissioner Hassan James, I saw her. There you go. I'd like to thank her as well. Just the support of the board in making this happen, prioritizing this for our community. I also want to thank so many partners, but first and foremost, particularly for this building, I would love to thank our building and our construction and architectural partners. First, Brian Minnick from GWWO. And Damian Norton from MCN Southway. Thank you all for your work in bringing this facility to fruition. I also want everyone to know that it is not just city schools alone, but the 21st Century Schools building program, this program was really made possible by support also with our partners at the Maryland Stadium Authority. I know Mike Friends is here, and the Interagency Committee on School Construction, the IAC, really all of whom have collaborated on this tremendous project on behalf of the students and families of Baltimore. But most important, I think what is important to know is that this new school and 24 other schools that will open under this program would not have been possible without the hard work of advocates and the collaboration between the city school board and staff with the advocates cannot be understated. Big things can happen when advocates and government officials come together. And then most important of all was the real groundswell of public support led by the community organizations and families and neighborhoods in Cherry Hill that demanded the promise of a better life for their children through quality education. And I want to take some time to recognize some folks who are here today who continually, through the process, led this charge. Kathy McLean, Peggy Jackson-Job, Alvin Lee, Eric Jackson, Michael Middleton, all of whom represent the major groundswell, and I would say ground level accountability of making sure that the building you see here today represented the brilliance that we know that our young people have. I think it's also, I also see Marianne Mears here, who was the artist who is responsible for the wonderful work that you see, the sculpture that you will see out front, and she gave her own resources as well to make sure that that sculpture was transplanted here for the new building, so I want to thank her. And I want everyone to know that in addition to the grades pre-K and 2, this new building includes 10,000 square feet of an early childhood center space, which is equipped to serve children from infancy. So if you were like me, yes, you can applaud if you were like me. When you came in, you saw video shots of cribs, and at one point I thought, wait, where am I? And I thought, oh, that's right, we are in a pre-K through 2 center. And so this other aspect of our commitment to meeting the needs of the whole child really is part of the generosity of our friends at the Weinberg Foundation. And I want to thank them for helping to underwrite the expense of this center. I know Rachel Monroe is in here, but her representatives are, and so thank you to the Weinberg Foundation. There are many others to thank and many other people who will help me thank the others. But I want to just finish with this, that really this building, and I say this at every building that we open because I want us as a community to remember that these buildings to our young people when they enter represent what we believe about them. We believe that they deserve this. We believe that they deserve well-lit spaces. that they deserve classrooms with light, that they deserve the latest in technology and science labs and arts rooms. This is what we as a generation of adults, quite frankly, owe the generations that come behind us. So young people who are here, including my good friend Claude, who's now snuggling with Mama, I want you to know that this is not something that is a bonus that we are giving you. This is something that you are worth receiving. This is what we owe you. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our governor, the Honorable Larry Hogan.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, can we give it up for Claude again? He did it. Claude is the man. I think Claude is going to run for governor one day. You watch. You got up here in front of that crowd. It took a lot of guts, Claude. I'm proud of you. And how about that band? I got a new idea how to start cabinet meetings. I want them drums playing, marching in, got everybody all fired up. But good afternoon. It's really great to be here with all of you. Dr. Santelises, thank you and congratulations to you and Principal Rochelle Machado and to everyone at the Baltimore County Schools. I also want to give a shout out to the great folks, Director Mike Friends and his incredible team at the Maryland Stadium Authority. We have a couple of Stadium Authority members here representing Chairman Kelso, who's out of town. We have Gary Mangum and Lenny Atman. Everybody knows Lenny. These two guys are here. I want to thank all of you. Thank Catherine Pugh, your mayor, your President of City Council, Jack Young, IAC Executive Director Bob Gorell, and everyone who has been involved in this $1 billion 21st Century Schools building program and in this exciting achievement that we're here to celebrate today in Baltimore City. It's a great day for Baltimore City and for the state of Maryland. Education has been our absolute top priority from day one. We not only fully funded education in all 24 jurisdictions of the state, but we went far and above fully funding by investing a record $25 billion into K through 12 education. No governor in the history of the state has ever invested more. We've invested $5.5 billion just into the Baltimore City schools alone. We've invested $5.5 billion into Baltimore City, to $3.8 billion of that in the schools, in the city. This is far and above the legislative spending formulas, and it's in spite of declining enrollment, and it's far more than any other administration in the history of Maryland. We're also creating a lockbox to make sure that all that casino revenue is going to go directly into the classrooms, which is going to mean an additional $4.4 billion for our schools. And we're also leading the fight for more accountability in our local school systems by raising academic standards, rooting out corruption and mismanagement, because I believe that every single child in our state deserves access to a world-class education regardless of what neighborhood they happen to grow up in. We've also strengthened school safety to add school resource officers and mental health counselors, because no mom or dad should ever have to worry when they're sending their kids off to school in the morning whether their son or daughter is going to come home safely. Our most important obligation is to the next generation of Marylanders, and a key part of that is making sure that our students are educated in beautiful facilities like this that are modern, safe, and efficient, and which provide them with an excellent environment that encourages growth and learning. And that's exactly what we are achieving right here with the dual openings of these two great schools today, Arundel Elementary School and Cherry Elementary Middle School. Thanks to the incredible work of our team at the Maryland Stadium Authority, we are opening 5 schools in Baltimore City just this week. Bringing the total to 9 schools that we've opened throughout the city. 4 more schools are currently under construction, and another is scheduled to begin construction next month. 5 more are in design, and 9 other schools are in planning, for a total of 28 schools that we're going to be building in Baltimore City. Yesterday, I was way out in Western Maryland, The new Allegheny High School we opened up there is replacing the oldest school in the entire state, 93-year-old school. They finally have a brand new school out there in Western Maryland as well. But we've built or completely renovated 124 schools just in less than 4 years, from one end of the state to the other. And I want to again thank everyone who has been involved in making today possible. We're investing in our students and in the next generation of Marylanders, and together with all of our partners here today, we truly are changing Baltimore City and Maryland for the better. Now, at this time, I'm going to ask Principal Machado to please come forward so I can present her with a governor's citation in recognition of today's achievement. And without further ado, I'm going to turn the podium over to my good friend, the Mayor, Catherine Pugh.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
What an exciting day it is in Cherry Hill.
That's right.
Is this an exciting day or what? Let me just say, I can't do this without asking my state leaders, Senator Ferguson, Brooke Learman, please, Luke Clippinger, please come up to the stage, because let me just say this to you all. We worked hard. We worked hard. The advocates, thank you so much. Stadium Authority, thank you so much for making this work for us. But we will build 28 new schools in Baltimore City, more, Governor, as you have properly stated, than the entire state. That's because, as your school CEO has said, because we deserve it. We have some of the oldest school stock in the country. And again, I just want to say to the advocates, thank you so much. Thank you all for fighting so hard for Baltimore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can tell you all that it is more difficult today to fight for Baltimore than ever before. When you think about the population shift and the growth in other parts of the state, but we're growing Baltimore because we're going to move our city forward because of schools like this. Because people move to cities and counties for two main reasons: good schools and low crime rates. And I want you to know that today we're continuing to drive crime down in our city. We're not where we need to be, but we're moving forward, and we're excited about that. But all of us are excited about what's happening here today, because our children deserve a future in a school that can prepare them to be all that they can be.
That's right.
And that's what you'll see when you walk through the halls of this building today. And we're excited because we know that there are people who have lived in these communities, who've invested in these communities, who've stayed in spite of whatever the issues are, because they believe in the city. And so we're saying to you, not only are we investing in the school, Governor, if you were with us yesterday, you would see, and I think the members of the Stadium Authority saw, we're investing around the neighborhoods as well. At Pimlico Elementary School, when we cut that ribbon, they were all boarded up houses directly across the street. We renovated those houses and will offer $600 a month mortgages to the individuals who have children in those schools. We're building here in Cherry Hill a new recreational center, because our children deserve it. We're working on our pools throughout the city because we want our children to know that we care about them. And so we're excited. I'm so excited to see the different age ranges that are here, because I know that this means community. The diversity that is here, because it means community. And so we will continue to work, to build, to work with our school commissioners, to work with our advocates, to work with our state legislators, to work with our governors, to work with all who are concerned about the future of our city. We've invested. You've invested. You're sending your children through doors that you hope that they will get what they need. And what we're showing you today is that we are prepared. We are prepared. And so again, to all of you all, we're excited when we have kindergartners starting like this.
That's right.
But I wanted you to take note of how he's dressed. Let's give Mom a big round of applause. And the only thing else I want to add to you all is that we must continue to put our hands on our children. We're not just their friends, we're their parents. The day when it took a village to raise a child is still with us today. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So let us lift up our children. Let's continue to put our hands on them. Let's continue to direct them. We're preparing a building. We are preparing a future. And so I hope you all are as excited as we are. God bless you all. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And I have the distinct honor and privilege to bring up our president of the City Council, Mr. Bernard Jack Young. And Jack, why don't you stay up here with me? So Jack said to me when the governor was presenting his citation, he's gonna make a bigger one. But I started bringing mine because Jack used to bring them all the time. So mine was small, and so I made it bigger. So Jack, I guess we're just going to have to get together and make bigger ones. So would our principal please come before us? We have another citation to present to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the governor. I'd like to thank our mayor. But most importantly, our mayor was in the Senate when they passed the bill to get that $1.2 billion. So I wanted you all to stand up too, but y'all went back and sit down. But I want to thank you all for your hard work in Annapolis because it's really needed. And I really want to thank the advocates because, I mean, they were down in Annapolis almost every day. I mean, every day they were in all of our ears telling us how important it was to get this money for the new schools in Baltimore. As the mayor alluded to, we have some of the oldest schools in the state. You know, lead in our water for our kids. These brand new schools going to have running fountains and clean water. And this is just, I'm just excited. You know, I mean, you know, when I look at this building and see the bright colors and the sunlight shining in, this is what our kids need to see. They need to see that we really, really value them and we really, really care about them. But before I sit down, I would like to thank all of the builders and the architects and anybody that has something to do with this, all the new schools that are being built around the city. But I want to thank Nicole Price because Nicole Price really put stuff together. You know, we all get up here and say things, but Nicole Price called me and said, Mr. President, are you coming to all the ribbon cuttings? I said, I plan on coming to every last one of them. So I want to thank you for putting together all the stuff that you have done to make this a success. So again, to our legislators, thank you. We must continue to fight to get more and more because our children deserve it. Thank you. Almost forgot. I'm bringing up Principal Rochelle Machado.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Today is a very exciting day, a very exciting moment. That's right. We are celebrating the beginning of endless opportunities for our early learners. The planning and the design process was promising, but to see it become a reality is extraordinary. The groundbreaking of a new 21st century school building meant a lot to our school community. It reassured us that there was a commitment and an investment to our scholars. Our scholars will have access to many resources and experiences to inspire them to love learning and reading. In this building, it starts with us, and we will prepare the brightest and the best scholars to send to our sister school, Cherry Hill Elementary Middle. I want to thank the Cherry Hill education team for presenting the concept to city schools and being our voice. families for trusting us to educate their children, my staff for their dedication to do what's best for scholars, community members and school partners for their continued support and always believing in our scholars and having a genuine interest in them. And to our elected officials and district personnel for ensuring scholars received an innovative, bright, and spacious learning environment. Our scholars do deserve it. My team and I are ready for the work ahead of us, and we are excited for what is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to invite those folks who are here to come up, who know who they are, for the first ribbon cutting ceremony.